welcome to our quarterly content training for quarter 3, which runs from January 8th until March 8th. This session is specifically for Pre-K3 teachers because we'll be covering Frog Street 3's curriculum. So if you are a Pre-K4 teacher or use the Scholastic Pre-K On My Way, you'll need to attend the QCT session on Thursday instead. My name is Jessica Adam. I'm the Pre-K Instructional Strategy Coordinator here at Early Learning for Dallas ISD. And with me today, I have Julie Four. Say hi, Julie. She's the Pre-K Lead Specialist, and she'll help facilitate this training. So she'll be monitoring the chat and answering any questions as they come up. So if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat at any time. In this session, we will give you important updates about our mid-year testing, and we're going to preview the upcoming themes. And we're going to give you information on some upcoming PD sessions as well. All right, for our important updates today, as you know, quarter 3 will run from January 8th until March 8th, and there has been one major change, and that is that the mid-year testing window has been shortened from 4 weeks to 2 weeks. So the testing window is now January 9th until January 19th. Okay, so we no longer have 4 weeks to test, we only have 2 weeks to test. And with that said, in order to support you all, we are going to have a CLI refresher course on January 8th. This is your virtual PD day. This is the day before assessments begin for MLY. So you can type this bit.ly in your browser, but you still have to log in with your Dallas ISD credentials in order to register in Cornerstone. You can also save this link for later if you want to log in on your laptop. This is the link for all of our pre-K PD sessions. The 2 CLI refresher sessions that are going to be offered are going to be from 10 a.m. to 11:30 or 12:30 until 2 p.m. And this bit.ly is just bit.ly/pre-KPD in all caps. So it is case sensitive. You can see all of our offerings and register for those sessions there. The mid-year circle assessment guide can be found in Curriculum Central under quick links here at the bottom. If you click on the suggested schedule, you will see the updated pacing guide. So you'll find that here under CLI suggested schedule, and this is the updated pacing guide for Pre-K3. Now, I know it's quick. You have the option to begin the observable checklist on this virtual PD day, as well if you want to give yourself an extra day at the end to test. So it's up to you. The observables, the students don't need to be present. So as an option, you can do that on the 8th. Otherwise, this is the suggested schedule. Does anyone have any questions or is anything unclear? So for our quarter 3 preview, we're currently working on our lesson plans and IPCs and centers for quarter 3. So the focus of this session is to give you an overview of the themes and to highlight any extra materials you might need to bring in or prepare. So in quarter 3, we're going to see theme 5, favorite tales and rhymes, theme 6, creative me, and theme 7, on the go. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off with favorite tales and rhymes. And so that you can follow along, I want you to know that I've added the pattern CD for those who may need it to Curriculum Central under Curriculum Resources here. So if you go to Curriculum Central, click on Curriculum Resources, you'll see the Frog Street 3's pattern CD there. And then we can share this link in the chat, Julie, if you're able to, so you can follow along as well, because a lot of the things you'll prepare are from this pattern CD. During the first week back from winter break, students are continuing theme 5, favorite tales and rhymes, with week 2, which is mouse tales. Week 3, students will begin reading Tales of 3, and week 4, students will learn about Jack rhymes. Notice that you begin circle testing as soon as we return. Theme 5, week 2 is mouse tales. Students will read The Enormous Turnip and The Lion and the Mouse. This week, focus on the vocabulary words mighty and make-believe. Explain that in literature, the character who saves the day is the hero. After reading The Lion and the Mouse, discuss the story's moral. An act of kindness is never wasted. and help children to make a list of kind things they can do for a friend. Here you'll see that you will also need to bring in a turnip and print and prepare enormous turnip character cards and the Lion and the Mouse story cards from the pattern CD. During the math block, students will learn about A-B patterns. Use the words vertical and horizontal. Students will pattern in various ways, from legs out, legs together while performing jumping jacks, to patterning with turnips and carrot pattern cards, clapping an A-B pattern overhead, down by your knees, to roar like a lion, squeak like a mouse, and creating horizontal and vertical A-B patterns with ropes. If you don't have ropes, you can use yarn. In the STEAM block, students will be learning about mice. Materials you will need are Play-Doh, a potato, yarn, and a ruler. Theme 5, Week 3 is Tales of Three. Students will read Three Bears Rap and the Three Little Pigs. You will need to print, laminate, and attach the Three Little Pigs story props to popsicle sticks because you'll be using stick puppets instead of reading it from a book. You can present the story in your own words or use the script in the pattern CD. You will also need to print, laminate, and cut out the Three Little Pigs glove puppet characters and attach them to a glove. In the math block, students will practice one-to-one correspondence. Prepare a cup of juice for each child. Tuesday, you will need to prepare 1 bowl of fish-shaped crackers for each child. The rest of the week, you will use objects that you already have, such as chairs, blocks, and books to teach one-to-one correspondence. In the STEAM block, students will be building houses from straw, sticks, and bricks or blocks. The materials needed are construction paper, craft sticks, Play-Doh, blocks, glue, masking tape, and a hairdryer. Remember to only use the hairdryer on the cool setting. Theme 5, Week 4 is Jack Rhymes. Students will read The House That Jack Built and Jack Rhymes. You'll focus on a different rhyme each day, and you will need to print the Jack Rhymes poem text from the pattern CD and adhere them to the back of each Jack Rhymes story card. For one of the follow-up activities, you'll need to print the nursery rhymes graph labels from the pattern CD and get sticky notes or use photos of your students to vote for their favorite rhyme. During the math block, students will practice one-to-one correspondence from the pattern CD, you will need to print and prepare the following cards: Jack and characters, bags of corn, dog bones, pies, and glasses of milk. You're also going to need 10 wiggly eyes and a paper plate. In the STEAM block, students will be building a house that has no holes or small spaces in which a rat could enter. After favorite tales and rhymes, we'll go into Creative Me. At the end of January, we will start the unit Creative Me. This includes the sub-themes, Things Kids Do, Recycled Treasures, Experimenting, and Designing and Building. Theme 6, Week 1 is Things Kids Do. Students will read Things Kids Do and Shelby's Rainy Day. Fun. This week, focus on the vocabulary words creative and imagination. You will talk about artists, illustrations, photographs, and what it means to be creative. There isn't a lot to prepare for this week's read-alouds. You'll just need a paper plate and a popsicle stick to make a paper plate puppet and streamers or ribbons for students to use during moving and learning. During the math block, students will continue practicing one-to-one correspondence. You'll need the children and paintbrush matching cards that come with the curriculum, and you'll also need to bring streamers and make sure that you have your parachute, beach ball, bean bags, small balls, or cotton balls for the STEAM block. Theme 6, Week 2 is Recycled Treasures. Students will read It Started as a Sock and Things Kids Do. This week, focus on the vocabulary words puppeteer and recycle. For this week, there isn't anything extra that you need to prepare for the read alouds. But my question to you is, if you wanted to build excitement for the read alouds this week, what would you do? Drop it in the chat.
So Mr. Espinosa said he would create a puppet with the recycled items from home. Let's see, Ms. Hernandez said they'd make a funny sock puppet using recycling old socks. Looks like there may be someone else typing in. Let's see. Start our own classroom recycling program, then create puppets and use them in the read aloud. Lots of great ideas.
Yes, awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. I do want to share actually in the pre-K conference, we're going to have a session on upcycling and how you can upcycle in your classroom. So how can you gather materials throughout the year and use those for future projects? So I'm really excited about that workshop. All right, so February 5th through the 9th, during the math block, students will continue to practice one-to-one correspondence using matching cards, tongue depressors, finger puppets, cups, and straws. In the STEAM block, students will create a puppet theater from recycled materials. You will need a box, so start saving those Amazon boxes. And here's a list of suggested materials to make your puppet theater. So they have listed here a drop cloth. That's just so when you paint your theater, you don't spill. And then they have fabric, heart and star cutouts, a large box. This says a washer, dryer, dishwasher. It just depends on how big you want your puppet theater to be. Measuring tape, ruler, yardstick, paint brushes, puppets, and a tension rod to hang your curtain for your puppet theater. Theme 6, week 3 is experimenting. Students will read Soapy Scientist and Its Gravity. This week, focus on the vocabulary words experiment and predict. You will not need any additional materials for the read alouds. For the math block, you will need to prepare the following maths: sink or float, boats, floaters, and droppers, magnetic or not, and penny drop. You'll also need magnetic and non-magnetic items, pennies, a magnet, straws, and items to test for sink and float. In the STEAM block, students will be testing 2 bubble solutions, one with glycerin and one without. You will need to print the following from the pattern CD: which bubble solution is best and which bubble blower is best. And you will also need to bring in bubble blower wands, liquid detergent, and glycerin. Now, I'm not really sure where you get glycerin because I did Google it, but probably Amazon. And actually, if anyone knows who's done this before, where have you gotten it before? I would say drop it in the chat for the rest of us. For theme 6, week 4 is designing and building. Students will read Better Things to Do and Coletta's Cookies. This week, focus on the vocabulary word architect. Remind children that an architect designs a building or house and draws plans so that construction workers know how to build it. You will need some triangular attribute buttons or tangram shapes. You will challenge children to use 2 triangles to form a rhombus. When teaching this shape, children may call it a diamond. You can say diamond is its nickname, but its real name is rhombus. We want to make sure that we use mathematical terms when we teach shapes. In the math block, we will continue practicing one-to-one correspondence. You will need to bring and serve 1 cookie per child for day 1. On day 2, you will be making a T-chart on the floor with masking tape, so make sure to gather some of that. You'll also need to print and laminate sandcastle choices, collage choices, and skyscraper choices. In the STEAM block, students will be building robots. Remind them that a robot is a machine. It doesn't have to look like a human, but it can. Here's a suggested list of materials, but feel free to start collecting materials that you can upcycle for this project, or ask parents to bring in materials that are clean and can be reused. After Creative Me, we will go into the theme On the Go. We end Q3 with the first 2 weeks of the theme On the Go. This includes sub-themes Places Kids Go and Wheels. Theme 7, Week 1 is Places Kids Go. Students will read The Places I Go and Get Moving. This week, focus on the vocabulary word destination. Remind children that destinations can be very close or very far away. You'll need chart paper this week because students will author a story about a place they like to travel to and record it on chart paper. You will also discuss scrapbooks in one of the additional readings, so if you have one, you can bring it in to share. And that's optional. During the math block, students will learn to order by size. Explain that while the order of some things does not change, such as our fingers or time within a day, morning, day, and night, the order of other things can be changed. Demonstrate putting things in order by size by creating a sequence of small to large blocks or short to tall children. Now, the curriculum will actually say time within a week and have you bring in a calendar, but we know that if we look at our pre-K guidelines, what's more appropriate is time within a day. So we don't want to focus on the days of the week, but rather the time within a day. The materials you will need are frog counters and plastic or rubber zoo animals, which is optional. If you want to compare heights of toy animals instead of using the zoo animal sequence cards. In the STEAM block, students will be doing long jumps each day for the entire week. This is an outdoor activity. You'll place masking tape on the ground and have students jump when they get to the line. Mark the distance of their jumps with yarn. Have students keep their yarn measurements each day so they can compare the length of their jumps throughout the week. Theme 7, Week 2 is Wheels. Students will read Wheels and the Three Bears Vacation. This week, focus on vocabulary words axle and gears. You'll need to bring in an item with physical gears, such as a watch, music box, or a toy. You'll also need to bring in a rolling suitcase. Explain that the wheels on a suitcase made the suitcase easier for a baby bear to transport his clothes. Allow all of the students to take turns rolling the suitcase. In the math block, students will learn to order items by position. You will demonstrate how to order a set using ordinal numbers, first, second, third. You'll need small toy cars, masking tape, and you'll need to prepare milk carton garages. The directions for that are in your teacher guide appendix on page 48. And I have a screenshot here on the screen as well. In the STEAM block, students will explore wheels. Wheels are in more places than just on vehicles. They're in clocks, watches, and music boxes. A wheel is what makes a pulley work. Gears are wheels with teeth. This lesson is for exposure. Encourage children to experiment with objects that roll and things that don't roll. Provide a few square objects. Add new items each day to continue exploration. You will need a range of round and square objects as well as a dump truck. You will also need to prepare a cardboard box sleigh using rope and a box. That is the end of Q3. Did anyone have any questions or anything you want me to repeat? All right. Important dates coming up. The title of our January 8th PD session is CLI Circle Refresher. The link to register for the session is in Cornerstone. If you still need to register, you can do so by typing the bit.ly into your browser. Again, that's bit.ly/prekpd in all caps. You'll need to log in with your Dallas ISD credentials. As I mentioned earlier, we have a 10 a.m. and a 12:30 session, and they're 90 minutes long. On February 19th, we will be offering a 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. session called Mastering Your Pre-K Environment. This is also 90 minutes long, and it will go over the pre-K classroom setup that is optimal for learning. On February 22nd, we will have New Teacher Academy for all teachers that are new to the district. You will receive more specific information from academic services regarding the location. The sessions will either be at Molina High School or WT White High School. And last but not least, February 24th, we have our pre-K conference. We're so excited about what's to come. Since you came to this session today, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some of the session titles you can expect to see. If you need to refer back to this link later, it's listed on the main page for pre-K in Curriculum Central. So if you still need to register for the conference, that bit.ly is bit.ly/itsaprekworld in all caps. Okay, so here are some of the session titles. I didn't put them all here. Science in the Pre-K Classroom, iPad for Pre-K, Estrategias para pasar del control a la conexión en el aula de clases, Reimagining the Classroom, Transforming Waste into Educational Wonder with Upcycling Practices and Techniques, Understanding Basic Brain Functions and Social Emotional Connection, Cultural Celebrations in Pre-K, Computer Science for Pre-K, and much, much more. So we're going to have tons of sessions for you to choose from. We hope to see everybody there. Show them that pre-K shows up to everything. We're about 2/3 capacity, so go ahead and secure your spot now. If you can't attend all day, that's okay. You can earn up to 5 hours of PD credit, but you'll only get credit for the sessions that you attend. So if you attend 2 sessions and then you have to leave, you'll get 2 hours of PD credit, or if you can't make it until later in the day, that's fine too. Here's the bit.ly, and you will need to be signed in to register in all caps. We plan to have breakfast, lunch, and giveaways, as well as door prizes.